Hello, everyone. My name is Yasin Karatay. I am a senior research manager at Cambridge University Press and Assessment. I'm from Turkey. I did a lot of English language teaching in Turkey and in the US. So I can say that my teaching experience is really impactful in my research agenda. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I just want to say welcome to our webinar. In this talk, as Graham said, we're going to dive into AI and explore artificial intelligence and its potential impact on English language teaching. So whether you are new to technology or looking to deepen your understanding, this session is designed to make AI approachable and relevant to your teaching practices. So let's get started. Before that, I'm going to just turn off this one. All right. So today we're going to explore how artificial intelligence or AI can help us teach English better. We're going to start by understanding what AI is and how it fits into teaching English. And we will kind of look at how AI can help with writing and speaking in English specifically. And I'm going to show you how it works through a live demonstration of talking with an AI. In the second part of the presentation. And we will finish by discussing what AI might bring to our teaching in the future and give you some kind of key ideas to take back to your classrooms. So let's start by talking about how we can understand if an artificial intelligence is intelligent. So the Turing test is the original kind of so-called test for AI. I don't know if you have heard of it before. So the image you see here kind of shows how this test works. Let me describe it for you. So A is the computer, right, and B is the human taking the same task, and C is another human, but doesn't know which one is computer and which one is human. So if C, the human evaluator, cannot tell if it is a machine or a person, the computer passes the test, and we can say it is kind of intelligent. But artificial intelligence is a very broad term. So let's look at it in a bit more detail. So imagine AI is as a kind of a big umbrella that covers different ways of kind of machines kind of can mimic human abilities. Under this umbrella, we have something called machine learning, which is where machines learn from data. And going deeper, there's a deep learning type of machine learning that is similar to kind of how our brains work to make even more complex decisions. And lastly, we have generative AI in this session. I would like to focus on generative AI because this is a type of technology we can use for our classroom-based activities. And this type of AI is what we use to create new content, whether it is text or images or even music. So for us in education, this means that tools like ChatGPT can kind of help us in creating interactive and more personalized learning experiences. So we're going to dive into how you can use these technologies in your classrooms later on. So this brings us the question, what is generative artificial intelligence? All right, so generative AI is called is about kind of creativity, and it learns from kind of lots of existing data like texts, images, or videos, and uses this kind of information to create new and similar materials. And you can think of it as a kind of a very smart tool that can generate new content based on what it has already seen. So how can we use it in language education? That's the question. So one way of using it is creating interactive conversations. So you can imagine that your students kind of participating in dinner conversations in a restaurant abroad, or preparing for a job interview in English, all through kind of role playing with an AI. This kind of provides a safe and I guess controlled environment for kind of language practice that they can use anytime, anywhere. So that's the beauty of this kind of technology. And another way is to analyze language patterns. So what do we mean by that? So generative AI can actually assist in learning, for example, especially writing skills. It can provide just instant feedback on students' essays or assignments, which kind of help them learn correct language usage very quickly without waiting for teachers' feedback. And the another one is generating educational content. And most of the time, I'm sure we need our teaching materials kind of uh, tailored to our students' needs, right? And generative AI can create stories and exercises and even test items that kind of include specific vocabulary or grammar structures that your students are learning. And finally, I strongly believe that it will drive technological innovation in teaching. So beyond creating content that I just mentioned, generative AI can act as a kind of a personalized tutor to support each student individually based on their kind of unique, um, what can I say, learning pace and learning needs. So to summarize, by integrating generative AI into your teaching, you can offer your students more kind of personalized, engaging, and effective learning experiences. So let's now see how this can be implemented practically in your classrooms. So AI isn't just about technology. So that's the first thing that I want to underline. It's about kind of supporting real educational needs, and it can help students just not only learn but also kind of connect emotionally with the material and develop confidence in their language ability. Um, so let's look at some of the specific AI tools that I think are changing the way students engage with language learning. So, for example, chatbots. These are the AI kind of driven tools that can interact with students in real time. So, kind of students can practice their conversational skills anywhere, anytime. And conversational AIs, which is going to be the focus of the second part of this talk, similar to chatbots, these AIs can handle kind of more complex interactions. And I will show you an example of this today. And automated writing evaluation that provides immediate feedback on students' writing, highlighting areas of kind of improvement and suggesting corrections. And machine translation, this kind of helps students understand and compare languages. And this type of technology is actually getting better and better day by day, to be honest. And automatic text generation, this can produce text examples, exercises, or even kind of entire learning materials specific to the needs of classroom. Right. Let me focus on just on the writing skills specifically, and talk about the AI assisted tools for writing in this case. So just to kind of reiterate, the AI assisted tools that are used to improve writing skills are automated writing evaluation, machine translation, and automatic text generation, among others. So I'm not going to focus on all of these things. I know this is a very broad topic, and I can't just discuss everything in this given time. But I'm going to focus on one thing. So, and then we're going to focus on some of the ideas that we can integrate into our classrooms. So these technologies have kind of shown promising results in providing learners with personalized feedback, improving language accuracy and fluency, and enhancing the overall writing experience. And among all these technologies, I would like to focus on one type, which is the automated writing evaluation, or AWE, as I'm going to call it from now on. So the AWE basically kind of refers to computer technology to assess and score written texts. So you or your students can use this kind of type of technology to receive feedback on a piece of writing. It could be an email, a paragraph, or an essay, or a very long essay, or like part of a manuscript, or an article. And this can be used not just for high stakes writing assessment, but also to support writing in kind of improvement in classrooms. And one example of kind of such technology is Write and Improve, which was developed here at Cambridge. Some of you might have heard of it or used it before. I don't know, but we're going to put the link in the chat so you can take a look at it too. So this is an AWE tool in action, which can be used for everyday classroom kind of activities for second language writing. For instance, when students submit a report on different topics, like as in this example, they receive instant and actionable feedback. For example, in this one, the overall feedback is, as you see here in this red box on the right corner, great, your writing level is B1. Now try to improve your writing to raise your level. Use the feedback to revise your writing, and then click check again. So the feedback could range from grammar corrections to kind of suggestions on how to improve their arguments, and so on. So they can refine their submissions iteratively. And another example for the AWE technology is large language models that I mentioned earlier, like ChatGPT. So how does this type of kind of generative AI work? So it basically uncovers or tries to understand the relationship between words, and then it generates human-like text, and based on this kind of relationship. So it also learns language patterns, and grammar, and vocabulary, and even the context within the texts. So let me show you how I interacted with it, just to get some feedback from my writing. So what you see here is my prompt, which is the thing that I want ChatGPT to do for me. So here I said, act as my writing mentor and provide feedback on my writing. And remember that I am a second language learner, focus on grammar, vocabulary, organization, and coherence. And here's my writing. So then I just copy and paste my text here. So I guess the important thing to know here is the prompt. So you need to be careful with how you talk to the AI. And there's a term called garbage in, garbage out. I don't know if you have heard of this one, but it means if your prompt or question to the AI is not so good, you won't get a good response either. So one good strategy is to assign a role to the ChatGPT. For example, in this case, I told the AI to be my writing mentor, and then to be as specific as possible, and see how it goes. And then based on the response you get, you can just refine your prompt later on, like talking to the AI. All right, let's see the feedback I got. I'm just showing kind of apart from the whole set of feedback it gave me, just for the sake of time, uh, just the organization and coherence related feedback, to be specific. So first, as you see, it gave me an overall comment or feedback for each category. For organization, for example, it says your report is well organized with a clear intro, body, and conclusion. And for coherence down there, it says your report is coherent with logical flow from one section to the next. To strengthen the transitions, here's what you need to do. And then it gave me more specific feedback, kind of to improve each specific aspect of each of my writing, such as, for example, consider adding subheadings, or use more direct reference to the previous content, such as and then it gives the corrected version to me. So what you see here is just a piece for each category, and I had more items on different aspects too. And most of the time, I should say, the feedback I got was really good. And not all the time though, because this is an AI, it's not a teacher basically, which brings me to the next topic, which is or question: how should we approach this in our classroom? So in terms of the success of AW in second language writing classrooms, research suggests that this is related to the accuracy of the feedback you receive from the tool. So what I mean by that is, if we as language teachers believe that there are huge problems with the accuracy of the feedback, we are not willing to integrate it into our classroom teaching. Uh, this is the same for students too. But the technology in this field is advancing so fast, and I think these tools are getting smarter and smarter. I think this is going to be less of an issue in the future. And as for the advantages, it could potentially reduce the workload of language teachers by providing kind of automated feedback on lower level writing skills such as spelling, grammar, sentence structure, and it could allow teachers to focus on higher level aspects of second language writing, such as content development and critical thinking. But the main takeaway for you from this part is that AWE, or automated writing evaluation feedback, should not replace teacher feedback, since students perceive this as crucial, right? So they want teacher feedback too. In other words, students see the most benefit when AWE feedback is combined with teacher feedback. So that's one takeaway that I want to highlight there. So I'm going to pause here for a moment before I move on to the next section, and I ask you two questions. I'm going to pull out the poll we created for you. I'm really curious about your opinions on using AI in classrooms. And let's see the first question. If you just bear with me, I'm going to open up the poll. So the first question is basically, to what extent do you believe AI can improve traditional language teaching methods? Significantly, moderately, slightly, or no improvement at all? Okay, I'm going to share the result in maybe 10 seconds. I'm going to end the poll now and share the results with you. So 61% said significantly, and 32 moderately, and 7% were not sure about it, and nobody said no improvement at all. So I think all of us believe that there's going to be some kind of improvement to a varying extent, I guess. So this is a nice distribution, to be honest. Let's move on to the second question. Let me share it with you. So this one is about how would you or would you consider using AI tools in your teaching if given enough resource and training kind of provided for you? Definitely yes, probably yes, maybe, probably no, definitely no. Okay, maybe 10 more seconds, and then I'm gonna move on. Okay, and pull, share the results. All right, definitely yes or probably yes. So I think everybody is willing to learn more about AI tools, which is fantastic, which is the purpose of this webinar, right? So I'm happy to see this. Thank you very much. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna go back to my presentation. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on. So let's move on to our next topic, which is the AI-assisted English language speaking tools. So how does this type of technology help us inside the classroom and outside the classroom, basically? And some of the current technology tools in this context to improve speaking skills are chatbots and conversational agents or conversational AIs. And they allow learners to engage in meaningful conversations to improve their proficiency in the target language, which is English in this case. And they can be a potential partner for practicing speaking. This is very important because we need this, especially when there's little resources in terms of practicing English for our students. And finally, they can reduce second language speaking anxiety, which I will come in the second part. So then the question is, what are those technologies? And I'm going to focus on one type of it, as I did in the writing section, which is conversational AI. So I'm going to first describe very briefly what they are and how they work. And then I'm going to show you an example that I designed for my PhD study. And then I'm going to show you some comments from my students who actually interacted with it and uh, discuss how they felt about talking to a computer. So a little bit background for the conversation AI technology. They are computer-based applications designed to interact with humans through natural language conversation, like I am doing right now. And it's basically coming from artificial intelligence and human computer interaction disciplines. We actually see this technology almost everywhere, from customer service to healthcare. Most mobile phones have this technology, so I would say most of us are carrying this technology in our pockets, actually. But what is the relevance of this to language learning and teaching and assessment? So that's the question that we are going to explore right now. So how does it work? I'm not going to go into too much detail, but very briefly, they go through a 4-step process. First, um, we have the user or our students in this case. They say something to the computer, right? It could be a response to a question. And this audio file or audio response is first transcribed and converted into text, right? And this component is also determines the meaning or intent of this response. And then it sends this information to the brain of the system, which is called dialogue manager. And this part makes a decision about what to say next and sends this decision to the next part, which is called natural language generation part. And this part then converts the response to speech and sends it to our user or student in this case. So all these chain of events happen in milliseconds, basically. But the question is, where can we use this kind of technology in our classrooms? So which tasks can we use it for? Well, one interactive task that kind of can improve our students' communicative competence is role plays, as you know it. Um, we know that role plays are kind of closer to naturalistic interaction. In other words, it can simulate target language use or real world communication better. But if you are teaching a class of 20 or 30 or even more students, it is difficult to administer such a task for all students and provide feedback for all of them, right? I think we've gone through this situation a lot in our classrooms. Another problem is the interlocutor effect, which is in our situation the other partner when we pair them up, right? So the proficiency level of each pair might impact the other pair and eventually the success of the role play task. So the question is, can technology help us with these issues? Well, the answer is yes. Let me know how. Let me show you how kind of conversational AI can simulate a real world task like this one. So what you're going to watch in a second is a conversational AI in action in a classroom-based assessment context. So I designed this computer-based tourism English test as a part of my PhD thesis. If you ever taught a similar course before, this this task might be kind of familiar to you. It's a telephone simulation between a receptionist, that is the test taker, and a hotel guest, that is the computer. So the test taker is a tourism English student who is supposed to have kind of professional tourism English knowledge. That's why he is in that role, and he needs to deal with this very difficult customer who is the computer, and reporting a problem in their room. Let's watch.
Hello, I'm calling from room 125. It is very cold in my room. I set the temperature to 24 degrees, but it doesn't go up. It looks like the air conditioner is not working.
We are terribly sorry for the problem.
Thank you for your understanding. But what about the air conditioner issue? It is very cold.
I can send you a technician for air conditioner.
I don't want a technician to come to my room right now.
For right now, have you tried to close your windows?
I actually tried opening and closing the window in my room, but it did not help at all.
Maybe we can change the air conditioner.
Do you realize that you have ruined my vacation?
All right, so you got the idea. So the task continues like this for 2 minutes, and then eventually the computer accepts the offer, and then the conversation ends there. So a little bit of rationale for why I developed such a computer-mediated test. Research suggests that we can use conversational AI for teaching and assessing speaking skills, because it can simulate real-world conversation in dialogue speech. It can elicit various aspects of instructional competence, such as turn-taking, making offers, apologizing. It can elicit task-appropriate speech samples, and it offers practical language learning opportunities because there's kind of no human partner needed, and students can do it anywhere, anytime. So the question is, how would you, as a language learner, feel about talking to a computer? Would you prefer a computer or a human? So several researchers asked this question, and it appears that the preferences are split, with half of the people preferring a computer and half preferring a human partner, and each for just different reasons. In my PhD study, you just watch a piece from the dialogue system there. Some learners or students prefer the computer because they thought it was easier to convince a human, while the others kind of felt that the computer acted more realistically and effectively. Let's see some of those comments very quickly. For example, one student said, this was my first time experiencing such a thing. I took the test in my dormitory room with my roommates in the same place. They thought that I was talking to a real person from a different country. Another high level said the computer was a little bit stubborn, but I'm guessing that's how the system was designed. So yeah, she played her role very professionally. Uh, a high level student talk about the potential impact of such a technology in their learning kind of improvement. With only grammar, you can do little. If I knew that I would have a test like this, I would find all possible ways to practice my oral skills. And another one, kind of, this is a low-level student, talk about how AI can help with speaking anxiety that I mentioned earlier. And they said, we have a general shyness against speaking in English in this country. So such a technology might reduce our anxiety and boost our motivation to speak in a foreign language, because we're going to know that the computer won't ridicule us when we make mistakes. So that's very important, I guess. In terms of authenticity, one student said, at one point when I was stuck with offering a solution, she said, "You have ruined my vacation." So this was pretty real and impressive. I felt bad. And this was my first time speaking English in such situations, but after a couple of tries, I got used to it and found myself trying to convince the lady. This is very important because at some point it doesn't matter who or what you're talking to. It could be AI or a human. What matters is you engage with the task and to speak, which is very important for our students, right? So let's look at the future. Looking ahead, the future of AI in ELT, or English language teaching, seems to be promising for me. Uh, we can expect more personalized learning opportunities where AI kind of adapts itself based on our kind of learner's level. In addition to that, it can also give real-time feedback. There's also potential for combining AI with other technologies such as virtual reality. We have already seen emotion recognition technology. One example was just released last week from OpenAI. If you saw that. So, as we wrap up today's session, I'm going to highlight the most important points about using AI in our classrooms. So we should remember that the goal of AI in our case is not to replace the very invaluable role of teachers, but to support them and improve the traditional methods of teaching. We have seen kind of several ways of AI which can make our classrooms more dynamic, such as interactivity, where this AI-driven tools can provide students with additional opportunities to practice, especially speaking in realistic scenarios. The second one is personalized learning. AI's ability to adapt learning materials to the needs of each student is very exciting to me. And the last one is instant feedback. So we saw tools like AWE or automated writing evaluation that can offer immediate corrections and suggestions. So how do these advancements change the teacher's role in this AI-driven world? That's the question, right? Well, I believe that teachers are now expected to maintain control over how AI is used in the classroom and keep up to date with the latest developments in AI education technology. So some final words. I think this is a fertile ground for further research and development, and I believe that it's going to revolutionize English language learning and teaching and assessment in some way or another. So here are some of the references, and thank you very much for listening to me. We have some time for questions. I'm gonna see if we have any in the Q&A box. For the sake of time, I'm gonna start with one that is that I got a lot from whenever I talk about AI from other teachers as well. I think Abraham also mentioned this. How can we effectively train older teachers when using AI or digital technology in the classroom? Or do software developers need to be highly aware of the diverse needs of educators? Failure to address this challenge might drive educational inequality for students. This question is becoming increasingly important, especially since current and future students are considered by Mark Pransky to be digital natives. That's a very good point, Abran. I mean, my point here was to kind of if you see one of the takeaways that I kind of underlined was to keep up with the technology and just be aware of what's happening around the world. So there is no gap between us as a teacher and our digital natives, which is our students, the classroom. So if there's that gap, what do I mean by that gap? So for example, if our students are born into this world, this AI-driven world, and they are very familiar with this kind of technology, but you as a teacher have no idea about them, and or you have, but still you don't want them in your classroom. You just ban, you definitely forbid every kind of technology. There is this gap is going to be expanding, which is something we wouldn't like to, right? So I think we should find a common ground in the middle, because we cannot be digital natives if we are not digital natives, right? I mean, but we can still be aware of things, what's happening, and try to find a way to integrate it into our classroom. That's why I said the teacher's role is going to be now controlling how AI can be used in the classrooms. So rather than just using it blindly, just have a control, have a say as a teacher, right? So one thing that I like, that's not my kind of statement, but I heard it from one of the big tech CEOs. He said, people are getting this question: Are we going to be replaced by AI? Like language teachers, are you going to be replaced by AI? And the answer was, AI is not going to replace you, but teachers who don't know how to use AI will be replaced by other teachers who know AI, who know how to use AI in their classroom. So that's uh, I think that's a lot of things to consider about this command. So that's why I designed this presentation in a way that uh, we need to be just aware of it. We don't have to like it. We don't have to trust it. And one thing that I can suggest is this technology is not at a level where you can just trust blindly, to be honest. So there's a lot of research going on in terms of that. So we have the trust issue yet. But we need to know what's happening, so we can find a way to integrate it and bring it to our classroom. So another question is, how can we what kind of skills do we need to do that? One thing is, I keep saying it, we need to have this technology proficiency, which is, in other words, familiarity with AI tools and platforms. Just for example, attending this webinar is one way, right? And so I'm very happy that you are in this session, and you're trying to, you know, to be updated on what's happening around the world. So familiarity is one thing, and we should be comfortable with using and troubleshooting technology. That's it again, the technological kind of proficiency, I would call it. Again, it would help us with the gap that I mentioned before as well. And also, another thing is, if these students are going to use AI when they graduate, when they go into their real life, their future profession, but you are kind of banning or forbidding AI in classroom all the time. So there's this kind of, again, lack of link or connection between your classroom and the real world. So I think the students also needs to improve their skills for their future profession as well, because uh, jobs are changing. The nature of jobs are changing. I think our job as a teacher is to prepare them for the future profession, right? Another thing that I really like about this is personalized learning opportunities. So as a teacher, how are you going to approach this? So if you imagine that there is an AI who's going to be a partner uh, for your students, then how are you going to approach this? Because AI will adapt for each student, so you're going to have a chance to reach to all of your students for like 100% kind of capacity, provide feedback and everything. So what should you do? um, I think you should have skills in kind of customizing these tools for diverse learning styles and needs. This is very crucial, I guess, as well. Do we have another question or comments? Can we have your email? Yeah, I can put my email in the chat after I'm done with this. Yeah. Any question, comments? You can just unmute yourself and say if you want. Is there anything in the chat? What's the name of the speaking app? It's my dissertation. I can share the. I think have you shared the link? I don't know, but I can share the YouTube link. That's a YouTube link that you can watch the video again. But it is a part of my dissertation, so it's not available. So you can use it. But if you contact me through my email, I can create an account for you. It's free. I made it publicly available. Again, it's coming from my PhD. It's nothing to do with Cambridge University Press and Assessment. So I can make you. I can create an account for you, and you can try it for yourself. Just shoot me an email, please. Right in the room. I guess that's the important. Find the balance. What tool has been used to create this dialogue? So I am not a computer engineer. I am, like I said, I'm an English language teacher who has a kind of interest in technology. And then I did my PhD in Iowa State University in applied linguistics and technology program, where we had to take a lot of kind of coding classes there. So I have very basic coding knowledge, but I didn't use any of it basically. So what I did was I created the concept, I created the content, and I kind of created the algorithm as well, like what should the dialogue system do in every step. And then I hired a friend of mine who was a computer scientist. So he just created the code for me in maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and then I did it. So I didn't do anything. Not speaking in Peru. I'm talking about the dialogue system that I created. So I have 1 minute left. Do you think AI would be sensitive to varying accent? That's a very good question. That's one problem with the automated speech recognition systems. I think it's not sensitive yet, I guess, but it is advancing, to be honest. So there's a lot of important issue dealing with accents from all over the world. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for the interaction and questions, for listening to me.